And we are back with the Producer's Corner, ready to get into our first segment of the night, joined by producer Jaykid. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, how y'all doing?
Oh, man, doing pretty good, man, doing pretty good. And yourself, man, how's it been with you?
Oh, man, it's been good, man. Been a pretty easy day so far. You know, just got done working on a little music right now, so, yeah, man, it's been pretty good.
All right, yeah, man. I know. I see you grinding out there, always in the lab, and then I saw you, had a video you dropped as well recently, am I correct?
Yes, sir. I dropped a video probably like about, it's been like about a month ago, man. I just been promoting it and stuff like that, kind of hard doing it by yourself, man, but, it's got to be done, you know what I'm saying? So you want to be successful, man, just you gotta push it, man.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, man. Definitely relate to that, especially when you make beats and you rap too at the same time, and you do a lot of engineering as well. Am I correct on that?
Yes, sir. I do a little bit of everything, man. Video, audio production, man. I make beats. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how you got started, with music in general. Were you in band or just a passion you picked out over a couple of years, or, tell us a little bit about that.
Man, it started off as a passion, man. I'm originally from Oklahoma City. I grew up in a studio, man. My uncle had a studio in Oklahoma City, man. He was very popular out in the city, and he just kind of pushed me into doing the music thing. You know what I'm saying? I started off as an artist at the age of 13, and I'm 24 now. But I started off doing like Christian music and stuff like that. I went out and performed at different venues and different churches and stuff like that. And then I started getting more on the engineer side. You know what I'm saying? I started recording and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about mixing and mastering, but, my uncle showed me the way of how to mix and master and, the definition of what it meant and stuff like that, because I had no idea. And then, I just kind of took off from there, started making beats myself. I use FL Studio, started making beats on there, you know what I mean, and YouTube played a big role in my life because, I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube, It's just if you have the patience to sit there and watch hour video or 3-hour videos, however long the video was, you know what I mean? So, it takes a lot of patience, making beats and stuff like that and doing producing and stuff like that. So basically how it got started, so.
Word, man. I like the fact that you talked about watching videos, taking time out to better your craft. Because I think a lot of times these days, a lot of artists they wanna get to. I guess they don't want to put in as much of the work. They're just constantly putting out music and not really learning about the craft as far as the engineering side, not learning about the craft as far as from a marketing standpoint.
Right.
Eventually it's just more of a hobby to them, not really something I guess you would view as a career. And that's what I really like about you, man, because I've seen a lot of guys, around your age that they just think it's a game, man. And, I mean, when I started, I was like 25. So I wish I would have had, those extra 4 or 5 years even before that. Because around that time, I think Reason 3 was kind of like the thing. And, it was a little harder back then than it is these days. But, you learn over the years. Who are some of your influences?
Man, honestly, man, I'm not going to lie. As far as music goes, man, I listen to anything and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about, like, I'm going back to the 60s, like Tom Jones, man. You know what I'm saying? And from there, just going on up. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different artists that I listen to. I don't necessarily have a favorite artist or, You know what I mean? But as far as, like, my personal life and doing the music thing, man, I'll have to say my pops, man. He's been my biggest influence, man. You know what I'm saying? He's always been there for me and always pushed me to do better. You know what I'm saying? And he's always kept it real with me. You know what I'm saying? So I have to say my pops, man, is my biggest influence. You know what I'm saying? So he's always just pushed me to just do better.
Dope, man. That's definitely dope, man. I had a couple questions for you, man. If you had a quick second here, man. Just hearing, you said you do everything, right?
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So as a guy who let's break that down for the people what that means, because some people don't know what that means, right? So as a guy who writes the lyrics, then goes in and composes the instrumentation from rhythm section to melodies, all of that, percussion. Then you got to go in, you got to go mix it, right? Mix each individual item. Then you go in and you master the song as a whole. Then you promote that song. Then you're saying you're doing other things as well, even outside the musical scope. At what point do you gain objectivity, right? So at what point, or how do you gain it? How do you step back? Do you have somebody that you bounce, you know what I mean, mixes off of, or song ideas? How do you gain that objectivity?
Man, honestly, it's just about getting the idea. You know what I'm saying? Starting from scratch and getting the idea. Everybody gets their music. They have to start from somewhere. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is, like I say, I listen to anything and everything. You see what I'm saying? So I just kind of just based on how I'm feeling at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Of how I'm going to structure my beat. You know what I'm saying? You don't mix every instrumental the same, or your vocals the same. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have a creative mind as far as going about that, on how you're gonna do your vocals. The way I start is I make my beat first, and while I'm making my beat, I'm thinking of ideas of what I'm going to write about. You know what I'm saying? What the topic of the song is going to be, and then I just kind of just go from there. You know what I'm saying? Once I start getting in my groove, it just kind of starts building from there. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the promotion and stuff comes on after that, and trying to find the right promoters. You know what I'm saying? You have to spend a little bit of money to make money. You feel what I'm saying? But if you invest into yourself and you invest into your work, you can only become better. And that's just trying to get a hold of the right people and just go from there. You know what I'm saying? So it's always about, like, who you know. It's not always what you know, but sometimes it's who you know that can get your foot in the door and that can help you make moves. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes a lot of these people that I deal with, I go through, like, Facebook. So, I mean, social media plays, like, just a big part of everything, you know what I mean? As far as, like, Facebook and YouTube, you have to do your research on the people, and you have to find out, who's promoting this and who's promoting that, and just go from there. So,
without a doubt.
I do my research, you know what I'm saying? I do my research on people. I just try to perfect my craft. So I just do my research and stuff.
And it sounds like that's paying off for you, man. It really does.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
So in terms of this research, you mentioned research, right? So, okay, so you're doing a lot of research when it comes to promoting these records, and with the way the music industry is structured today, in comparison to maybe 10, 15 years ago, record labels were a big thing, right? Nowadays, not so much. So in terms of what your end goal is, are you looking for that record deal? Are you looking for more independence type of goals? Like, talk to me about your end goal.
Okay, so my end goal, man, is whatever. The way I feel, man, if I can be independent and be successful at the same time, then I'm gonna go that route. But if I can have a record label that's looking at me and they want to cut me a good deal, and I agree to that deal, then I'm gonna go that route. You see what I'm saying? But
I do.
Yeah, but I feel like the ultimate goal here is to put out music and have people appreciate your music. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I have a lot of fans. They love my music. They love what I do, and that makes me happy right there. Even if I wasn't getting paid, that would make me happy. You know what I'm saying? I love people. I love people that bump to my music and that can groove to my music and get a good feeling from my music. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? Having other people listen to your music and saying, I like this, man. I like bumping to your stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's the best feeling in the world. So that right there, man, keeps me motivated to keep doing better. So yeah, man.
I think that's realistic too, man. I think you got a good head on your shoulders. I think you recognize that either option could be good. I know some people are diehard record deal, some people are diehard independent, and it's good that you can see both sides of the fence. I think that's going to lead to a lot of success. And those of artists who are listening, I think it could be beneficial for you also to take that same stance, just because you never know who you're going to run into. And the definition of independent is always changing.
Right.
So
and
I think that's dope.
And what I tell most artists and most producers is don't limit yourself. I feel like you shouldn't limit yourself. Always keep that door open, because you never know what can happen. And that's what I tell most. That's what I just tell most of the people that I either record or sometimes I might have a few people that might ask me questions about engineering and stuff like that. I don't mind helping out the next man. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind helping out the next man, as long as they stay in their lane. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah.
As long as they stay in their lane, and I don't mind helping out people, man. It's just I feel like a lot of artists nowadays and a lot of producers nowadays, they start limiting themselves. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's how it should be. I feel like you should always keep that door open for opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So
it's a great point, man. Definitely a good point, man. Keep them eyes open at all times. Yo, D-Dot, what else? I didn't mean to cut you off, man. What other questions you got, man?
Oh, man, yeah, that's pretty much, well, really, what are you currently working on? Is there any, projects that you got coming out in the future, or maybe any other artists that you're working with currently?
Oh, man, right now, I got so much going on. I'm really just right now, I'm mainly focused on myself. You know what I'm saying? I am working with other artists at the time, but it's not like they're just releasing singles and stuff like that. And right now, I'm just kind of building my stuff my stuff up right now. I'm working on a few singles myself, and my ultimate goal right now is to each song that I drop, I want to have a visual to it. You know what I'm saying? So this is when my promotion comes into play, as far as recording all of my tracks, releasing the audio clip, and then releasing a visual. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's how it's going to be like for most of my tracks. I'm going to release the audio first, and let that ride out for about a month, and then let that month go through, have a couple of promotional videos, and then release the visual. You know what I'm saying? So kind of build up the hype. And that's another thing. I see a lot of artists nowadays. They're not promoting their stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? They'll drop tracks and they'll just leave it sitting there. Or they might drop a music video and nobody even knew it was coming. They just drop it. You know what I mean? So it's all about timing. You know what I'm saying? If you could be patient and wait and let it ride out and just promote your music just a little bit more, just wait and promote it and then drop a visual or something like that, I think that's the way to go.
Dope, man. Definitely some dope.
Yeah, man. I like the fact that you said there are a lot of people these days, a lot of artists in the industry that they record music and like just instantly dropping videos. And I think when you do stuff like that, you kind of set yourself up for failure. I think that, you should, in your case, I like also the scenario about dropping more visuals off of this next project.
Right.
Even I've seen some artists that may do like a mini movie, for example, with a couple of tracks. They may have an EP, a 5-track EP or a 7-track EP, and they'll do a video for each song on the EP. And I think that's something that's a little creative. But what I think, though, that there should be some type of build-up when they're doing this type of stuff. So, maybe put out a single every week or, maybe every month or something leading up to each video type thing. If one of the questions I got to ask before you go, man, and I ask this to every producer that comes on the show, if we could say any artist in the industry right now that you can produce in a 5-track EP, who would that artist be and why?
Man, that's a hard question, man. That's a really hard question, man, because the thing is, man, there's a lot of good artists out there, man. There's a lot of great talent, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like some of the artists out there right now that are not even getting enough exposure, you know what I'm saying? Because of, like I say, like, people are not, I feel like people are dropping tracks too fast, you know what I'm saying, and not promoting and then letting it sit there. But as far as, like, if I wanted to work with any artist right now, man, that would be a tough one. I couldn't even possibly tell you, man, because there's just too many of them, you know what I'm saying? I would literally be picking, like, about maybe 5 or 6 artists that I would like to work with, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I could.
Right now, I'm just going to keep that one right now for anonymous, you know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't really tell you, man. There's so many good artists out there, you know?
I can respect that, man. I mean, I don't know who I would pick myself. I'm such a fan of a couple of people, and depending on the beat that I'm working on, it might fit one person versus another that I envision. What kind of shout-outs do you have for, our listeners, and where could they find your music at online?
Oh, yeah. You can definitely check me out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's Jaykid Productions. It's JAYKID Productions, all together on all social media. You can check out my website, jaykidproductions.com. I got beats on there for sale. You can read my biography. You can check out my photo shoots that I like to do. I like to do a lot of photography and stuff like that. You can check all of that on there, man, and check out my music video as well on my website. So you can definitely check that out. One more thing before I go, too, I was going to say, too, I think a lot of artists are focused on, like, dropping, like, albums and, like, EPs and stuff like that, man. I feel like, and this is in my personal opinion, but I feel like a new up-and-coming artist shouldn't be focused on an EP or album. The reason I say that is because, I mean, how successful are you going to be on an EP or an album if a lot of people don't, like, know about you, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of the artists should be focused on their singles. I think they should go that route. I think they should be focused on their singles, you know what I'm saying? Instead of spending, for some people it might take 8 hours to do a track. I know that might sound crazy, but for some people it might take 8 hours to do a track. You know what I'm saying? And they're making a whole album, and they're working day in and day out trying to get 12 tracks together. Instead of spending all that time putting it into an album, they should put that time into that single and trying to perfect that single. You see what I'm saying? And trying to promote that single as good as possible. You know, so I kind of feel that, and this is just my opinion, you know what I'm saying? So this is just advice I'm trying to give to other artists, man. try to focus more on your single than trying to release an EP or an album. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that as well, because I feel like a lot of guys are just creating music to create music. A lot of the songs have hardly any type of lyrical content, and it's like you ever heard the term microwave artists? That's what everybody are trying to do these days. Is trying to get rich real quick, and it's a cool thing to do. So everybody want to rap and do beats, etc.
Right.
All right.
Exactly, man.
All right.
That's
Man, it was definitely a pleasure having you on the show, man. If you have anything in the near future, man, you're more than welcome to come back on the show. Just hit me up, and we'll make it happen.
Hey, man, it sounds great, man. I appreciate y'all having me on the show. It's a pleasure, man, talking to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Other people that share the same interest in music and producing, and it's always a pleasure talking. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it.
No problem at all, man. Good luck, and holler at you.
All right, man. Y'all take it easy. Y'all have a good one.
Peace,
Jay.
About to go to our next commercial break of the night. We'll be back with the Producer's Corner.